Welcome to Novice Memoir Writer. Are you YouTube shopping for memoir writing tips? And that's what brings you here? I too did YouTube shopping when I was ready to learn how to write a memoir. You're sensing that you have something you want to write and share with others, but you're not quite sure how to move forward. Now, I have to admit, I have never taken a course on memoir writing, and I have to admit, I have not read several memoirs. However, this didn't stop me from writing my memoir, and it will not stop you in writing your memoir too. What's important about memoir writing is that it gives us a voice to share our life experiences that are meaningful. It's a process that's reflective, thoughtful, and it's an expression of our feelings and our heart. Hello, my name is Mary Fong. This video and forthcoming videos are about sharing my experiences and insights at memoir writing as a beginner. It's a way of giving back to the memoir community that I've learned from. And I've completed 2 memoirs, which are a part of a trilogy. I'll share some of my writing to give you examples in upcoming videos. So as a novice memoir writer, I think I was able to pull it off. You can call it beginner's luck. All I know is that I have enough background or experience that I could tap into my past experiences to assist me in writing my memoir. I think my videos differ from other videos because I come from the perspective of a novice and how I was able to write 2 independently published memoirs starting from scratch, like I think many of you are coming from. So as a beginner, you may share some of the questions or concerns I used to have. So let's get started. I did a self-assessment before moving forward on my memoir preparation. And why I did self-assessment, I want to know what I'm bringing to the table, to this whole project of a memoir writing. And so self-assessment is good because you could say, well, you could figure out what kind of background you have, what talents do you bring, what are your proclivities, what are some of the tools that you have honed to bring to this memoir writing. So this is what I did. The first thing was I had an itch. I had an itch within my soul that I had certain life experiences. I felt that it was worth talking about, sharing, and it was a string of events. And so one, you have to have at least some sense that your life experiences is worthwhile to write about. Another quality that I have is I'm a truther. I'm a truther, meaning I like real things. I want the real deal. I call it like it is. And I don't like fakeness or artificiality. I like the real deal. And so this matches up beautifully with a memoir because in a memoir, you can't invent anything. You essentially learn how to express in a storytelling fashion your life experiences as truthfully as much as possible and also give the facts if it's appropriate. So we have another quality. I happen to have a good memory of my experiences, and I have a tendency to absorb my life experiences. I just don't process my life in my interactions or day to day. When I interact with people, I experience something, I just really absorb it and I get a sense of it and so forth. For some of you, you're a journal writer. I never was a journal writer, never got around to it. But if you did journal keeping, then that would be very helpful because you can always go back to that particular time in your life and it will trigger memories, and then it will have also details. So keeping a journal is very, very helpful. Also in high school, I was on the speech team and I competed in storytelling and informative speaking, and I did quite well. And I took courses and have had some experience in journalism and in theater. Now, I want to mention that these two aspects are important because I've had some exposure to how the storyline goes in telling a story. And also informative speaking as I'm informing, telling people about something. So I've had practice in both. Journalism is also aligns with informative speaking because you're reporting the facts, you're reporting what has occurred. In theater, it offered me playing different characters. And so I understand the thing about dialogue, how that is going to be very important and engaging for the reader when they are reading your memoir. I also majored in communication studies at the undergraduate, master's, and PhD level, and particularly in human communication. So I specialize in cultural and intercultural communications. And later in my career, the last 10 years, I had worked from scratch on studying spiritual communications independently. And so I was finding myself in the memoir to integrate both of my specialization, and which I was very eager to educate a wider audience rather than just the students who are taking my class. So I found that really exciting. And as you can tell, I'm a university professor and never wrote a memoir before, never took a literature course beyond freshman comp, but I took plenty of communication studies courses in which I had to do a lot of writing, but academic writing is very different from memoir writing or narrative writing. And so that's why I had to learn. But those are the skills or background that I bring to the table. Probably for some of you might have shared experiences or that you are a real book reader and you get a really good sense of what's a really good book or a quality book. Or you're a movie goer and you're really into movies and you could see the storyline and you could see the action and the dialogue and what makes drama in the sense or excitement and sadness in a story. So any of those or anything more to it, you are bringing something very valuable and you will be honing your skills and putting it in practice and application. So before I share the activity that virtually all book writers do, or people who write memoirs, is an activity of brainstorming essentially. But first, let's talk about preparation. Before engaging in the activity, I prepared myself. First, you have to decide, do you want to write on paper or do you want to type on a computer? Now, initially, as a novice, I just felt comfortable pulling out a pad of paper and sat on my couch and I just started jotting some ideas down. But I found that what I wrote on paper, I have to transfer it on the computer and I didn't want to constantly do that because that's time consuming. And so what my recommendation is that you get used to, really just kind of get used to or force yourself if you feel uncomfortable, just try it one day, second day, third day, because the more you do it, you get comfortable with it and just type on your computer. I found it very easy. It helped my organization. It helped me with editing and storing in files and easy access. So that's why I recommend the computer, because essentially when you write your memoir, are you going to totally handwrite it? I mean, that will be very time consuming. And so you'll find that when you type on the computer, you will save a lot of time and doing more efficient editing. And you will find that you can use other applications on the computer to assist you. Find a calm, quiet, and comfortable space because you're going to do some self-reflection, of course, in the activity. Grab your favorite drink. Oh, life is so much better having your favorite drink to sip on when you're reflecting way, way, way back in your life. And essentially you're daydreaming. It should be enjoyable. I know that there will be memories that will be difficult. And that's okay because you're in a safe spot now. What your experiences that occurred back then is in the past. It was in another time and space. You are here in a safe zone. Okay, so keep that in mind and do a bit of detachment if the memories were difficult. You could do detachment, all right? Take care of yourself. And during this time of the activity of reflection, there are no time limits. It's not a contest. It's not a race. You're not in a hurry. And so that's why no time limits, because when you are reflecting and when you're daydreaming, right? Is there a time limit on that? I mean, really? And so it's a time to review your life. And there's no contest or race. You will find that you will do multiple sessions or multiple sittings because one day you have these ideas and just put it aside, come back another time where you're able to do another sitting, because during the way, 1 day, 2 days, or a week, when you return back to it, your mind is percolating. You're focusing on, I want to start remembering all these ideas. So no time limits. And again, as I mentioned, be prepared to do reflection. Now, the activity, I call it S.I.T, S-I-T. It's an acronym that I did create for this video to make it easy for the newbie in memoir writing. And so S stands for stages, I stands for interaction, and T stands for theme. So we'll take one letter at a time. So you've made your decision, or you go write on pad of paper, or you go type on your computer. Okay, wherever you're at, you want to identify the stages in your life, right? And here are the examples that I use: preschool, elementary, middle, high school, undergraduate. It could be, if you're married, marriage. If it's your career, your entire, whatever it may be. I recommend in this activity to do your entire life. Why? One, it's therapeutic. Two, it's your data or your experiences. And you may find that it might not just be one memoir that you're going to be writing, but it might be 2 or 3 or more, depending on what do you have completed in this activity. Now, for me, I thought I would just write one book, a memoir. But after I went through my entire life, I found myself writing a trilogy. And it's been great. It's not a waste of time. Now, in your mind, you're probably thinking of a particular event or a certain phase in your life, and that's fine. But if you go do this activity, why not do the entire life? Because when you are writing here, like you just want to write about your marriage, there's going to be reflection points when you were younger at this age, when your parents divorced, for example, or your parents separated, or your parents reunited, whatever it is, all of that is valuable for you because they help you in flashbacks. And again, you might find yourself writing multiple memoirs. And so when you identify your stages or phases in your life, you want to leave space under each of the stages. Or each stage, so that you're able to identify particular experiences and so forth. You could fill in under those particular stages or categories. And I just found this phase of stages to provide organization, a logical progression in my thought processes and reflection rather than jumping around here and there. Instead, I said, okay, let me start back from the earliest memories I have. All right. Okay, so we go to I, which stands for interaction. So again, you're ready. This is where you have your favorite drink again. You're sitting quietly, relaxed, feeling fine, feeling good, and you just breathe in, breathe out. Get comfortable. You're going to reflect on interactions in your life from the earliest memory that you could think of. So when you think of one early memory in your childhood, preschool, and pause and say, could I think of another experience or memory or moment or meaningful experience or situation or relationship prior to that one? Okay. You said, yeah, oh, okay, I remember that. And then from that experience, you said, could I think even further? So you back up as far as you can. And until you get to the point that that's the earliest memory I have. Then you will create a keyword or phrase to trigger your memory when it comes down to writing. And you're going to put this keyword or phrase under the particular stage, which is going to be most likely preschool, or you could categorize that stage, name it a different label. It's really up to you, your comfort. All right. So yeah, it could be a keyword or phrase. And you're just going to keep on doing this until you get to a point of saturation. That's when you know, okay, I've exhausted all the ideas and memories that I could think of. And as I mentioned before, you should do multiple sessions. It's not a one crack deal in 1 hour and that's it. You should not feel pressured doing this reflective time. You should feel that you are absolutely comfortable, and you should not feel stressed. And so anyway, keep that in mind. Point of saturation is when you know you've collected enough of your experiences, and with your experiences is data from your life. And so you're going to be analyzing your data or your interactions, the memorable situations and relationships and meaningful experiences and moments, and so on. All right, now we go to T, which is theme. So theme is an idea, lesson, message, or some subject that flows throughout your entire memoir. Now, keep in mind that you will find that most stories and most memoirs will have multiple themes. So it's okay. It's not just one theme, typically, one idea, one message. And let me just rattle off some common themes in books. They are like judgment. Are you in a court of law and someone's trying to sue you? Or you had a court case, you've been a victim, and you're talking about your experiences of going from, the trial and so on. Is it a matter of survival? You're on an adventure, or you went somewhere and you got lost, and it's a matter of survival of the environment until you are saved. It could be about peace and war. It could be a love story. It could be about heroism, saving someone or doing a heroic act. It could be a story between good and evil, or it could be the circle of life. If you're writing something like on reincarnation, or from the beginning to the middle to the end of life, or on suffering, have you been through some major tragedy, a loss of a loved one, a good friend, or even a loss of a pet? And there is suffering, but there's much to be learned and to adapt and to regain back to balance. Did you go through a major illness or something? Or is one of your themes about being deceived? Someone was betrayed you, or coming of age. That's very, very common, is coming of age, in which you write about growing up and all the crazy, goofy things we do and mistakes we make and the lessons we learn from it, and so on. And the list goes on and on. Now, you want to move towards that direction of identifying universal themes, because universal themes will attract a wider reader interest. But it's okay if it's not a universal theme, because people who are interested in a particular illness that you've gone through, most likely it's going to be that reader who's gone through that illness, or a family member, or a good friend. But if you could choose a universal theme like love and good and evil, or even coming of age, that it will apply to a wider audience. All right. Okay, that's just something to keep in mind. And when you're identifying the theme for each interaction, you're going to identify the theme for these interactions, which are experiences, moments, situations, and relationships. And so when you identify your theme, you do it after you have done the second step, which is interaction. And so you have all those interactions listed in the different stages. And you go through each interaction, you identify, is this interaction has to do with what type of theme? Is it a relationship between you and another person, and it's a romantic relationship? Then you just put love or romance. Is it a time in which you underwent surgery? Well, that could be part of illness. So you get the idea, is all you have to do is, usually it's like one word or a couple words or phrase to identify what each interaction would be categorized under identifying the theme. Now, you could just pretty much type it next to your list, or another way is that you could copy and paste it onto another Word document and classify them according to themes, whichever way you like to do. I think what I did was I just went through the whole list of interactions, and I just typed in what the themes were. So after you do that, then you're going to just look back at your life. You're going to see what is a reoccurring type of theme. Is there a pattern? And so you will find in most memoirs more than one theme. So don't be concerned if you have 2, 3, or 4 things. In fact, I haven't figured out how many themes I've had in my memoir. I know one of the themes in my memoir was on cultural experiences. In fact, I might have that list coming up. So, and also you will see in these themes, you will see like messages will come during your writing time. So don't be concerned about what is the message of my memoir. It's not until you write, because you don't understand your life entirely. And it's through this whole process, which is very therapeutic in understanding your life experiences, that a message will come through. Maybe a message has come through already for you, but you might find additional messages coming through. What is that voice in your life experiences telling you? So I want to quickly share the 2 memoirs that I've done. So until the next video I create, and this is my first YouTube video, so I'm excited, and I hope I helped you in some way. So the first memoir is the themes. Okay, here we go. My first memoir is Two Heart Nuts to Crack. And the themes were Chinese cultural communications, intercultural communication, in which I'm experiencing cultural differences and I'm treated differently. Another theme is coming of age, all the way from 2 years of age, all the way to 28 years of age in the first memoir. What else did I come up? Oh, death was a repeated theme that came up. So you can see right here, I have 4. I might have more, but that's what I figured when I was preparing for this video. And spiritual experiences, of course, spiritual experiences really came through, especially in high school and in college. And there's my cover right there. And we'll talk about cover titles, covers, designs, and all that, any tips I have. And so this is my second memoir, A Beautiful Blueprint. And I'm not going to go through all the things or anything, but you get an idea already. And so I welcome you. Easily, both of them are on Amazon. You could get a free preview view to get a feel. I feel that my memoir trilogy is very, very unique. It is just, and we'll talk more about that, because that's one of the things, people look for. Is this memoir is it unique? Does it add more to the whole repertoire or field of memoirs? How's it different? So we'll talk about that in another video. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that you will engage in this very important activity of S.I.T that every novelist or memoirist will do. And good luck, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Oh, wait. Before you leave, please give me a thumbs up, write a comment. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, I will respond, or I'll incorporate it in the upcoming videos. But I really appreciate your feedback, because that would just help me to be able to help you. All right, thank you. Take care and see you next time around.